Hi everyone, good evening. Can you see my screen everyone? Can you hear me? Am I audible? Yeah, so in the last session we discussed about technical questions and general questions, right? Technical questions and general questions. Yeah, so anyone newly joined today? Anyone newly joined today? Can you share your WhatsApp number and email address in the chat? So anyone newly joined today, today only, can you share your WhatsApp number and email address in the chat? Yeah, everyone able to hear, right? So can you speak in the mic? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes,
Am
yes, you are audible.
yeah, yeah, fine, fine. So my webcam is not working today, so maybe there is some driver issue. So it is not starting. It is showing blank screen. Currently, it is showing blank screen. So I'll check it out. Yeah, from today tomorrow onwards. So definitely it will work. Okay. So it is showing blank screen here. Yeah. So anyways, today without cam also, we can continue. Fine. Yeah. So we have completed 3 demo sessions, right? First one is DevOps introduction. Second one is, yeah, cloud introduction. Third one is technical questions and general questions, right? Yeah. So before going to the subject, first we need to understand this. Okay. Yeah. So we have completed 3 demos. So already WhatsApp group created. People already added into WhatsApp group. Okay. Yeah. So today onwards, we are going to start regular sessions. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about SDLC, software development lifecycle. Okay. So anyone newly joined today, you can share your WhatsApp number and email address in the chat. So my mobile number is 96422111711 is my mobile number. Yeah, let's get started. Yeah, software development lifecycle. So every organization currently they are using Agile methodology, right? What is Agile? Anyone? What is Agile?
Parallel development.
Yeah, Agile is a parallel development, right? Yeah. So currently, every organization they're using Agile methodology, which is a parallel development. Yeah. Before Agile, we used to use waterfall methodology. Before Agile, we used to use waterfall methodology. What is waterfall methodology? Which is sequential development, right? Yeah. So currently, most of the organizations they already migrated to Agile. So if you want to perform parallel develop, if you any project team, they want to develop the applications parallelly, they required DevOps tools, right? So DevOps tools like Git, Jenkins, Maven, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Grafana, Prometheus, so many tools are there. But which tools are very popular now? Which tools we need to use in the project? Okay. As a DevOps engineer, what we will do, so how can we coordinate with the development team, operations team, right? So testing team. So as a DevOps engineer, we don't need to develop any code, right? So development, yeah, will be taken care by developers only. Yeah, testing will be taken care by testers, right? And as a DevOps engineer, as a cloud engineer, what we will do? So we'll work on infrastructure, AWS platform. Also, we can automate the activities like code movement, code merging, code deployment. These are all the activities. Okay, fine. So in Agile methodology, how the development will be happening? Okay, this process is very important. So before going to cloud, we need to understand this. Okay, yeah. So here, for example, 2 developers are working on their local workspace. Yeah. So this is a, we can say local workspace, or we can say local Git. So developers always work on local Git. Okay, developer A and developer B. Two developers are working on their local Git. Okay, so Git is a repository tool or version control tool. We discussed already. So Git is a repository tool or version control tool, right? So what is repository? Where we store our data, right? Where the developers store their code, right? So source code, which is a repository. Version control system. What is version control tool? The changes will be tracked whatever the develop. For example, 10 developers are working on the same development, right? So one developer is working on front end UI, second developer is working on back end API development, third developer is working on database, and other developers are working on hot fixes and the future release branches, different branches they are working, right? Yeah. So who is doing what? How can we track? By using version control tool, right? So version control tool track the changes. Who is doing what? Who is doing front end? Who is doing back end? Who is doing database? Right? So everything will be tracked by version control system. Git is a repository tool or version control tool. What is repository? Where we store our data. So version control track the changes. Okay. Yeah, this is a Git local Git. We can say local Git. On local Git, developers, multiple developers, they develop the code, they modify the code, they test the code, right? Once the development is completed, what they will do? They push the code to remote repository, so which is GitHub. Once development is completed, they push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub. So remote repo or GitHub, both are same. Okay, so what is GitHub? So Git is a local repository, GitHub is a remote server, remote repository. Okay, so on remote repository, the code will be pushed. So normally developer develop the code in their local Git. So once the development is completed, they push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub, right? Yeah. So our code is here. The code is pushed to remote server. Okay. Yeah. So once the code is moved to remote server, so in this flow, our next tool is Jenkins. In parallel development, agile methodology, so this flow is very important. So this flow we can call it as a CI/CD flow or build and release process. Okay. Yeah. Our next tool here is Jenkins. Okay. Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. What is CI/CD? Continuous integration, continuous deployment, or continuous delivery. Okay. So whatever the code pushed by developers, right? So the code is saved in remote repository. Yeah, this code I want to pull from GitHub to Jenkins. This code I want to pull from GitHub to Jenkins. So if you want to pull the code from GitHub to Jenkins, what we have to do? First of all, we need to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins by installing plugin. So what is plugin? First of all, we need to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins. So to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins, we need to install one plugin. Plugin is a package software, right? So in Jenkins, we need to install GitHub plugin. So once we install the plugin, Jenkins start communicating with the GitHub. Okay. Yeah. Once we install plugin on Jenkins, it starts communicating with the GitHub, right? So Jenkins is a mediator tool. Jenkins is a mediator tool. It will integrate all the tools. It will communicate all the tools by installing plugins. So in DevOps, we have multiple tools are there. All the tools are individual tools. One tool will not communicate other tool. Jenkins is the mediator tool. It will communicate all the tools. Will integrate all the tools by installing plugins. Fine. So in Agile methodology, we don't deploy the code manually, right? So by using Jenkins only, we can deploy the code. So how can we deploy the code? So whatever the code developed by developers, they push the code to GitHub. So first we need to integrate GitHub with the Jenkins by installing plugin. After that, what we will do, we create jobs. We create jobs. What is job? So normally, if you want to push the code, if you want to pull the code, if you want to merge the code, we don't do manually. So by creating the job is the functionality, right? So for example, my code is available in the GitHub. So developer develop the code which is available in the GitHub. So this code I want to pull from GitHub to Jenkins. For which what I will do, I create a job and I run the job. I trigger the job. Once I trigger the job, this code will be pulled from GitHub to Jenkins. Okay, yeah. So by using Jenkins only, we can pull the code, we can push the code, we can deploy the code. Okay, so once we trigger the job, the code will be pulled from GitHub to Jenkins. Once the code is pulled, so this code, we can say this is the raw code, raw code, right? So what is raw code? Raw code is a unstructured code, unformatted code. Okay, so raw code, different files, different formats, different yeah, structured way, right? Yeah, this raw code will not understand by target servers, which are JBoss servers, WebLogic servers, Tomcat servers, right? So finally, the code should be deployed onto any web server or any application server. So this is, for example, Tomcat server. So Tomcat server is a web server. Okay. So finally, the code should be deployed onto respective target server. Okay. So Tomcat will not understand this raw code. Tomcat normally application servers or web servers, they will not understand the raw code. So raw code is unstructured code, unformatted code, right? So that is why what we will do here, we integrate one more tool which is Maven. So this flow already discussed, right, in the first session, right? Yeah. So to deploy this code on, normally whatever the code we pulled, which is a raw code, the raw code should be converted into one proper format, respective format, right? So raw code will not understand by application servers or Tomcat server or WebLogic server or WebSphere server, right? So application servers, web servers, this raw code normally unstructured code, right? They will not understand. That is why, so we integrated one more tool which is Maven. What is Maven? What Maven will do? Maven is a build tool, right? So Maven is a build tool, or we can say project management tool. Maven is a build tool or project management tool, right? Yeah. So what Maven will do, whatever the raw code we pull from GitHub to Jenkins, which will not understand by application servers. That is why we integrate Maven. How can we integrate Maven? How can we integrate Maven? By installing plugin, right? By installing plugin. Any tool, if you want to integrate with the Jenkins, we require one plugin here. You need to install one plugin. Okay. Yeah. For example, for example, so here application development is going on. So which is Java application development. Java application development going on. Okay. So when we talk about application development, three types of developments are available. Three types of developments. First one is desktop application development. Second one is web application development. Third one is enterprise application development. So any development, any environments, any projects, three types of developments are available here. Okay. So those like desktop application, web application, and also enterprise application development, right? So three types of application developments. For example, there is a desktop application development. So if you have desktop application development, what Maven will do? Maven generates jar file. What is jar? Java archive file, right? So jar file, Java archive file. Fine. So if the application development is desktop application development, it generates jar file. So what is desktop application? For example, I have a calculator. So calculator is the desktop application. So this calculator work in my local laptop. My calculator you cannot access. Your calculator I cannot access, right? So this will work in local only, local system, which is we can call it as desktop application development, right? So what is the web application? So whatever application we host on the server, right? So that we can access through internet, right? If the application team developed web application, Maven generates WAR file, web archive file, right? So if the development team is developed enterprise application, right? Here Maven convert into ER format, enterprise archive file. So based on the application development, what is enterprise archive? So normally enterprise level applications like, yeah, so millions of requests at a time, millions of requests at a time, right? They receive like, yeah, for example, normally, yeah, Flipkart, Amazon shopping site, okay, or any other Mintra, Misho, they give some offers sometimes, okay. So at a time bulk request will be received, right? Bulk request, so thousands of requests, right? And lakhs of requests, right? If the application is enterprise level application, so Maven generates ER application, ER format, enterprise archive file, right? So once Maven generate the WAR file, jar file, or ER file, what will happen here? This WAR file or jar file, it will give back to Jenkins. Jenkins push that WAR file to Tomcat server or any other web server or application server. So here Jenkins push that WAR file to respect to target servers and Jenkins deploy the WAR file on respect to target server. Okay. Yeah. So developer develop the code. Once development is completed, they push the code to GitHub. Once the code is moved to GitHub, Jenkins pull the code and convert into one artifact, which is a WAR file or jar file or ER file. Okay, that artifact will be give back to Jenkins. Jenkins push that artifact to respect to target server, so that artifact will be deployed onto respect to target server. Clear, right, everyone? So this we can call it as build and release process or CI/CD process, right? Or CI/CD process. Okay, so every organization, most of the organization, they are using the same flow, right? So whatever the code developed by developers, that should be moved to remote server, which is GitHub. From there, from remote server, Jenkins take and convert into respective format, and it will deploy onto target servers. Once the application is deployed, we can access through internet, right? So if the desktop application is deployed, if the desktop application developed by developers, so we don't deploy onto server, right? That will deploy on local system. Fine. Yeah. Fine. So developer develop the code here, and admins like cloud engineers, they prepare the servers here, and testers test the code, right? So once testing is completed, the code will be reviewed. The code will be reviewed. So here one more tool is available, which is code review tool, which is Sonar code review tool. Sonar code review tool. What is Sonar? What Sonar will do? What is Sonar? What Sonar will do? Okay, Sonar code review tool is a tool. Whatever the code is, yeah, whatever the code pushed by developers to GitHub. So once the code is pushed to GitHub, yeah, so Sonar will review the code, and Jenkins take the code. Once it is converted into artifact as a binary file or jar file, WAR file, ER file, Again, Sonar will review the code, right? And once it is reviewed, okay, it will provide one report. So normally Sonar code review tool is the completely developer tool. Okay. So in Sonar, developers, what they will do, they create some metrics, metrics, metrics rules. Any duplicate lines are there, errors are there. They create some metrics here. Okay. So based on the metrics, Sonar will work. Okay. So every organization, every project team, they maintain some code standards, right? Yeah, here without Sonar, we cannot, yeah, normally in real-time projects. So for example, we have Flipkart application, right? For example, if you go to the Flipkart application, so in Flipkart application, if any duplicate lines are there, what will happen? So the pricing will show you two times, three times. The images will show you two, three times, right? So that is a bug. Okay, that bug fixing will be happened in Sonar level. Okay, so before review the code, testers manually they test and automation test they perform by using unit test cases. So after that, Sonar will review and it will provide the report. If any duplicate lines are there, errors are there, fixes are there, yeah. So once it is provided the report, so testers again they test the code, they check the code, okay. They work on the bug fixing, okay. So finally, yeah, the code will be convert into artifact and deploy onto respective target servers. Clear, right, everyone? So this flow is very important in real-time projects. Okay. So every project team they are using this build and release process. Without Jenkins, without Git, without Maven, so the CSD will not work. Any questions here, anyone? Is it clear to you, everyone?
Yep. Hey, I'm Kiru here. So I just
Yeah,
have
go
a
ahead. Yes.
query in the
Can you speak a bit
Jenkins
louder?
part. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it is fine. Yes.
Yep. So is the same job that we scheduled in the Jenkins gonna pull the code from the Git and Maven and then gonna push in Tomcat, or there are like multiple jobs scheduled in Jenkins to do this activity?
Exactly. Yes. In Jenkins, we schedule multiple jobs. Okay. So, for example, every day by 5 a.m., whatever changes happened in the GitHub, that should be deployed. So, for which we schedule the jobs. How can we schedule? How can we schedule? So, there is a cron tab guru. There is a cron tab guru. Schedules are there. I'll show you while working on the. I'll show you while working on the Jenkins. Okay. So yeah, every sprint we schedule. Every sprint in Agile methodology we create the sprint, right? For example, there is a application development. That application development we divide into bits and pieces, right? That bits and pieces we can call it a sprint. For every sprint we schedule, we create multiple jobs. We schedule the jobs as per the schedule. Jenkins trigger the job, the code will be pulled from respective sprint, right? And it will deploy into target servers. So while working on Jenkins, we'll go very deep dive, right? How to schedule the jobs, how can we prepare the jobs, how can we test the jobs. These are all will be covered while working on Jenkins. We'll see that. Practically, we'll see that. Jenkins takes nearly 8 days. We are going to work on Jenkins, right? 8 days, all the concepts in real-time projects, whatever activities you are performing, all the all the practical oriented sessions, okay, all the activities will be covered in Jenkins. Fine.
Yep. Thank you.
Hello, Ram.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So the flow is like so once the so once the code came to this Git like I mean report remote repo. So from that it will go to the Jenkins, right? So then so this Sonar code will review and then like it will process, right? Like I mean any errors in the code. So that should be taken care by the testing and development team, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And so we don't have any clue, like, I mean, whether the code is right or, I mean, we don't care about that, right?
Yeah. So as a DevOps engineer, we don't need to worry about the fixes, issues,
Hmm.
errors, right? Yeah, testing team will test the code. Yeah, after that, Sonar again review the code. So once it is reviewed, it will provide the report. So no bugs, no errors, no duplicate lines. Then only the file will be converted to WAR file. The raw code will be converted to WAR file, and it will move to the respective target servers, and that WAR file will be deployed to target servers.
Okay, fine, Ramya. Thank
As
you.
a DevOps engineer, we don't need to worry about the uh, bugs and issues in the code. Okay. Yeah. So these are the CSD. These are the tools which are very very important tools. Along with these tools,
So
we are
Ram,
going to work on advanced tools like Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Grafana, Prometheus. These are the these are the tools, very very advanced tools. Okay. So what is Ansible? Anyone having idea what is Ansible? What Ansible will do? Ansible is a configuration management tool, right? Yeah. So configuration management, the name itself, the configuration, the name itself, it is saying configuration, right? Ansible is a completely automation tool. So whatever activities manually we are doing in real-time projects currently, those activities you can do in automated way by using the Ansible. Okay. Ansible is a core tool, advanced tool. So we can automate any activity, manual activities, day-to-day activities, like code deployments, code merging, code pulling, code pushing, right? Application deployment, any other deployments, any automation activities, any manual activities you can automate. Okay. So currently most of the project teams they're using Ansible. So before Ansible, we used to use Chef and Puppet. So Puppet is completely outdated. Puppet is completely outdated. Chef, few project teams they're using Chef. So currently most of the project teams they're using Ansible to automate the activities. Okay. So our next tool is Docker. What is Docker? Docker is a
container tool.
container tool. Container tool. What is container? In general, what is container? Yeah, it is just like box, right? That box we can move anywhere, we can use anywhere. So containers are advanced virtual servers. So cloud servers are virtual servers, right? In AWS, whatever servers we are creating, those are virtual servers. So Docker containers are advanced virtual servers, right? So very faster. So currently we are using online shopping, right? For even groceries also we are using online shopping, we are doing online, right? So when we book any groceries through Blinkit, Jepto, Dunjo, different apps are there, right? So when we book the products, when we book the groceries, within 5 to 10 minutes they're delivering, right? So because of backend, there are advanced infrastructure, advanced advanced containers, right? So whenever we book any, for example, few weeks back, I booked a mobile, right? So within 4 hours they deliver the mobile. Within 4 hours, from local warehouse they pick the mobile, they deliver the mobile. Okay, so because of backend we have very powerful environment is there, Docker, Kubernetes. So yeah, 5 years back, 6 years back, when we book any online products, they used to take so 1 week, 10 days like that. So currently it's very faster, right? Because of Docker and Kubernetes. So Docker and Kubernetes will go very deep dive. So Docker, Kubernetes, these two tools are very core tools. So if you are good in Docker and Kubernetes, you can easily crack your internet. Okay. Yeah, Docker is a container tool, right? Next tool is Kubernetes. What is Kubernetes? It is a container orchestration tool. Container orchestration, right? So Kubernetes is advanced to Docker. Kubernetes is advanced Docker. Orchestration. What is orchestration? Anyone having idea? Orchestra. What is orchestra? What is orchestra? Anyone having idea? Group of instruments together they play, right? Yeah. So in between that instruments, one person stands and he move the hands. Is the orchestration. He control all the instruments. He direct all the instruments. Kubernetes is the orchestration. It will control all the node servers, all the target servers. Clear, right, everyone? Yeah. Next one, Terraform. What is Terraform? Terraform is a infrastructure automation tool. Terraform is a infrastructure automation tool. What is infrastructure? What is infrastructure? Anyone? Servers, storage, network, right? Yeah. So whatever the resources we are using in cloud in AWS, right? Yeah. So those are like, for example, one project team required 100 servers with 8 GB RAM and 4 core CPUs and 1 TB RAM, 1 TB storage, Linux servers they required, right? So by using Terraform, within a minute we can create 100 servers with all configurations, all packages, everything within a minute. So Terraform is a very advanced tool, very core tool to create the infrastructure. Currently, most of the project teams they are using Terraform, right? So one of my ex-colleague, he moved to yeah, he moved to UST Global recently. UST Global, yeah, he's working on only Terraform with AWS. He's handling only Terraform with AWS. Okay, he got very good package recently. He got very good package, right? Yeah. So even Ansible also. One of my friend is working with Wipro, right? Is handling only Ansible with AWS. Okay. So these four tools are very core tools. Okay. So these four tools are very important tools, advanced tools. If you are good in Docker Kubernetes, you can easily crack your interview. So even Terraform also. If you are good in Terraform, yeah, so you can easily crack your interview. Even Ansible also. Along with this, if you have this CI/CD, so if you learn all these tools, you can fit with any project. Any project you can fit with. Okay. Yeah. Next one, Grafana and Prometheus. These two tools are, we can say, monitoring tools. Monitoring tools, right? So you can monitor Kubernetes, you can monitor Docker, right? So in DevOps, we use the Grafana, Prometheus. These are the monitoring tools. In AWS also, we have monitoring tools, right? In AWS also, we have monitoring tools. What are those? Yeah, which are CloudWatch, CloudWatch, and also CloudTrail, CloudWatch and CloudTrails. In AWS also, we have monitoring tools which are CloudWatch and CloudTrail. Okay. In DevOps, we have monitoring tools which are Grafana, Prometheus. Right. So these are the monitoring tools. These are enough to you. So people are talking about yeah, NAGOS. So NAGOS is not required. Okay. These are the very advanced monitoring tools. NAGOS is a bit older tool. So currently, yeah, we are using Grafana, Prometheus in DevOps, and in cloud AWS we are using CloudWatch, CloudTrail. Fine. So here from Git to Grafana Prometheus, all the tools will go very deep dive. So AWS will be covered. Yeah, in AWS we cover nearly 42 services. 42 services. In AWS, we cover nearly 42 services like EC2, S3, EFS, right? And also networking part, VPC, database, SNS, SES, right? SQS, and also ELB, elastic load balancer. So like that, we have very core services are there. If you are good in these services, you can easily handle other platforms also, like Azure, Google Cloud also, right? So AWS nearly it takes 1 month, 1 month. So our course duration is 3 months, right? First 1 month we are going to work on AWS. After that we'll jump into DevOps, right? We are going to work on DevOps takes nearly 2 months. So we'll cover weekends also. Sometimes we'll cover weekends. So this weekend, last weekend Terraform covered to the 87, 88 batch. Two batches. I merged two batches. So Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 2 hours. Terraform covered last Saturday and yesterday. Before last week, before before la, yeah, before last week. So I covered Ansible. Okay, like that sometimes. So for example, we get some this month we have some holidays, right? Yeah. So it will be delayed. That is why sometimes I'll cover in weekends also. Okay, so every tool will go very deep dive. So in real time projects, whatever the activities we are performing, same activities we perform in our classes also, right? Once you get into the project, once you join into the project, so the same activities you perform. Fine, clear, right, everyone? Any questions here, anyone?
So do we able to get any hands-on experience about the tools which you have explained before?
Low voice, your voice is very low.
Yeah,
Hands on
can you
experience.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So once complete this course, you will get nearly 3 to 4 years of hands-on experience. That level of training will be provided. Okay. Once complete our course, you can showcase minimum 3 to 4 years in your resume. That level of hands-on you will get.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. Yeah. So everyone got the course content, right? Our backend team provided course content, right? You can check it out. AWS services nearly 42 services are there, and same tools: Git, GitHub, Jenkins, Maven, right? Apache Tomcat, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Grafana, Prometheus. Along with this, one more tool is there, which is Nexus repository. So what is Nexus? What Nexus will do? Quickly, we'll try to understand. Yeah, Nexus repo. This is a, we can say Nexus repo. What is Nexus? What Nexus will do? Okay. So Nexus is a, yeah, artifactory repository tool. Nexus is a artifactory repository tool. Whatever the war file generated by Maven, those war files we can store on Nexus repository. Okay. So Nexus stores our artifacts like war file, jar file, ER files. So whenever we have release, by the time we can move the war files to respective target servers, and we can deploy onto respective target servers. Clear, right, everyone? Nexus is one of the repository tool. So Nexus is specially designed to store our artifacts like war file, jar file, ER file. Fine. Yeah. So these are the tools we are going to work on. Yeah. Everyone should practice daily basis. Okay. So you need to spend some time for live class 1 hour, and at least you need to practice 1.5 hour to 2 hours daily. If you practice daily 1.5 hour to 2 hours, within 3 months you can easily crack your interview. In my previous batch, one of the student is having 3 years experience. So recently, last week, last Friday, he got offer. Yeah, from one of the MNC company with very good package. Okay. Yeah, one of the fresher also cracked the interview last week. Okay, currently, yeah, so people are getting more calls and openings are so many openings are there. Every day we are posting. Every day we are posting in the groups. So today I sent nearly 10 jobs. Today I sent in the groups 10 jobs. Every day I'm posting jobs. Okay, how to crack the interview? How can we present our skill sets, right? So how can we cope up in the interviews and projects? So everything will be covered in our course. So what are the day-to-day activities? What are the challenges we face? Right? What are the day-to-day activities like tickets? What are the tickets we get daily? These are all will be covered in our course. Okay, so everyone should practice daily basis. Okay, so people are yeah, few people they are what they are doing. So Monday to Friday they attend the live class and Saturday they are practicing. That is not good practice, right? So daily basis, if you have any emergency, you could not practice, right? So next day immediately you need to go through the recording and you need to practice. You will get the recording and one supported document. So both you can go through and you can practice daily. Okay. Yeah, so these tools are very core tools, very important tools. So if you learn these tools, okay, you can easily crack your interview. You can easily cope up in the projects. Fine. Anyone having any other questions? Any general questions or any other questions? Fine. So we can wind up here. So tomorrow we are going to start servers networks basics. Tomorrow we are going to start servers network basics. So WhatsApp group already created, people already added. Okay. If you are interested, you can register and you can add into WhatsApp group. So maybe
Sir,
link will be changed very soon. Okay.
is there
Yeah. Go
any
ahead.
project for AWS, sir?
Yes. Yes. Projects will be covered. So three to four live projects will be covered. Along with that, small projects will be covered. In AWS, nearly six projects, small projects will be covered. Okay,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
fine. So we can wind up here. So link may be changed very
Uh,
soon. You can add into WhatsApp
Ram,
group
like
as well. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yes.
uh, so from Marvin to Nexus also like will we use plugin to make the connection?
Yes, yes. Any tool, if you want to integrate with the Jenkins, plugin required. Without plugin, the integration will not be happen, right? So we need to install plugin in Jenkins. So it's very simple, very easier. So go to Jenkins console and we can go to plugins and we can search the plugin and we can install the plugin.
Okay, yeah, fine, Ram. Ram, one doubt. Like, I mean, so in the Sonar like code review tool, so if we like if there are any errors in the code, so like we need to report to the respective teams, like developer team
No,
and
no,
testing team.
no, no.
Like, who
So
needs to report
Sonar
that?
code review tool is a developer tool, right? So they always create the metrics, they monitor they review the code. We don't need to worry about the errors and issues.
Okay, Ram.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Fine. So we can wind up here. So everyone, yeah, the people who are not registered so far, you can register and you can add into WhatsApp group. We'll share all the information in the WhatsApp group. Fine. Yeah. Thank you all.